So now we are 3+ years on our journey. And I guess I would say, the beginning was Y Combinator, participating in Y Combinator, which is considered, world's best startup incubator. And we received great network support, and we kind of picked up in terms of traction as well by, participating in the program. And from there, we just kept building, logos and trust in the market, because obviously we operate in security and compliance business as a startup, and we serve a very risk-averse audience. So the first thing they ask is like, oh, you're a startup, what if you die next year? Which is a very legitimate question. So we've been very much focused on overcoming that psychology, that we are here for the long run. And then we always look for example, how do we actually build these stepping stones to get there where we can actually earn the trust of our audience globally. So some of those milestones would be, for example, targeting certain security certifications such as ISO, SOC 2, etc., doubling down on the future, which is generative AI led tooling. That's why also our punchline is AI-native AML compliance. So I would say, just to recap, getting into Y Combinator helped the business development. That was like, the biggest milestone for our origin, for our genesis. And from there, we were very much focused on trust building on an ongoing basis. And in tandem, we were also betting on the future with AI. Paul Graham, co-founder of Y Combinator, he has this very nice phrase that I like. In order to receive investment, just be investable. So essentially build a good business that people would be interested in, and that's what we have been trying to do for the last 3 years. And I guess the reason we received the funding is because we are a very good business, a very sustainable, fast growth, and we want to continue to do the same over the coming years. But obviously, no one is going to invest in you if you are not promising as a company to grow in the long run and deliver asymmetrical outcomes, right, from a VC perspective. And if you think about our company, we are also not first to the market. Like, these types of solutions have been around for the last 50, 60 years, right? And I've been on the buyer side before I started the company, so that's essentially also why we exist, because I know what not to do. I know what's out there, and I know most of those people lie, because they lied to me. And that's essentially also why we exist, because we wanted to build a product where we wouldn't have to lie to people, and it works, and it delights people. Because when you think about it, no one cares about back office people. Yeah, sure, 9 to 6 p.m. every day, you just click some buttons. But imagine half of your work is just like stupid clicks every day, right? And then these people go back to their families, they all have their own lives. So actually, how can we make an impact on those lives, which are in the millions globally, right? And then deliver great value to those organizations by cutting those massive cost bases of AML compliance. So I think, with that vision, that's why we were able to attract a good investment.
The big things that B4B Payments wants to focus on in the next 2 years is scale. And we have been laying the foundations to scale. This, again, like I mentioned, goes back to the acquisition by Banking Circle a few years ago. And we both have sort of large ambitions when it comes to scale. One of the more interesting things we are discussing internally at the moment is what are we doing right now that will be relevant or even irrelevant in 2 years' time? And the engagement model with clients is something that's really interesting to think about right now. So we have user interfaces where clients can interact with our products, and that could be sort of a mobile app, it could be a web interface. In future, there's a big question over whether the engagement model will change. So there could be NLX or natural language instead of UX. And so that might be, instead of saying, hey, I want to click here and issue a virtual card, it could be simply asking an agent or an AI within our products, hey, I want to issue a virtual card. And so that is something we're exploring right now. Agents, like I mentioned, is another one where you might have capabilities within our products that are actually doing work for you. And like I said, for the time being, there's a human in the loop with this, but it's interesting to think about. And then I think the other point around in terms of what may be irrelevant is also agentic payments as well. So you may have our clients, it could be us talking to merchants or other businesses making payments that are driven programmatically. And so it might mean, when I talk about user interfaces, that those models may change, and it may mean that potentially they're less relevant. In the next 2 years, one of the big things that we are thinking about is how our clients will engage with our products. And that can be via user interfaces, it can be via APIs. What we're seeing with some of the developments on the AI and the LLM side is the interaction models and the opportunities for new ways of engaging with payment platforms. And one of those potentially could be MCP, or the Model Context Protocol, that is becoming popular in the AI LLM space. And that might mean that starts to supersede APIs. It may not, but that's interesting to look at. And the other part is the developer experience. So we do have API connectivity for our products. We are expanding that, working on the developer experience as well. But in future, it might be an interesting question of do human engineers interact with our platform via the developer experience or not? And it could be a case of either agents or other methods of communication where the developer experience starts to change and evolves into something different.